Hey, Gary and Valeria, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, is it on?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know it was on.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a very special guest, my beautiful, smart, kind husband. And today we're doing a really interesting video because I get so many questions about Gary's entrepreneurial journey, about business and finance in general. So I thought, why not bring this little unicorn in and just ask him a bunch of questions. And I posted a post on Instagram asking you guys if you have any specific questions. I wanted to say a huge thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. And it's basically an online, don't be on your phone, I'm talking.
I know all about Skillshare. I think they're great.
Skillshare is an online platform that offers courses. I love to go on it to look up things that has anything to do with business development, with finance. So I highly recommend you guys to check out. Because Skillshare is such an awesome partner, they're offering a really awesome deal for my subscribers. So the premium membership usually starts at $10 a month, but the first 399 people is gonna go and sign up, get 2 months for free. So get on it, take advantage of it. Link is in the description box, and you guys let me know if you do sign up. I wanna know your honest opinion about the platform and let me know what you guys learn, what you're interested in. I care, we care. Okay, so now let's get to the questions.
Do you guys think you need a university education to go into business?
Well, I don't have a university education, and I definitely think that education is valuable, but I don't think that, especially in today's time where there's so much information out there and you can really learn things on your own, hence Skillshare.
I think any experience in life is good. I think the formal education system is dated as of now. So I think that when I went to school, which was actually over 20 years ago, there was a lot, it was a lot more relevant, and it used to be that the key to success and the key to business success was education. Education was always the way out, but I don't necessarily think it's the case now, because what's different now versus then was that we have social media. The world is a much smaller place. We're communicating things a lot more. So in my opinion, you don't necessarily have to go to university, but I think it will help. Any experience will help.
Yes.
Because in formal education, I feel that you learn how to learn. You learn about politics. You learn about what not to say, what to say. So there is a lot of
time management.
Time management is super crucial. Aspects of formal education, whether it's university or college or even high school, whatever it may be, that are important. But I've met way too many successful entrepreneurs who didn't go to university to say that it's crucial, but I've also met a lot who have.
If you could give your younger self advice about starting a business, what would it be?
Well, just from what I recall, going into my first, what I call my kind of real business, as opposed to like the hustles that I did when I was a kid to make money, I would say to aim higher. I feel that I became complacent in my business at the point where after a few years I was making enough money that I considered myself okay. The advice I would go back and give myself is that don't kick back and start enjoying your success at the early stages. That's actually the time to double down and look for more opportunities. And if you can't grow the existing business model that you have, go outside of your business model, look for investments, look for other businesses, look how you can leverage your existing infrastructure that you have in your business. That's what I would suggest to do. Don't get too comfortable, and you have to always stay hungry, because if your business isn't growing, it will eventually implode on itself.
Can you just tell a little bit about kind of your business history?
My first job after my first year of university, I was pumping gas, and I was making $7 an hour. Before that, when I was 15, I was making $3.65 working at McDonald's. And they eventually fired me because they kept demoting me.
There was nowhere to go.
I started off at the cashier because that's the highest position, and I was no good at that. They demoted me to hamburgers, and hamburgers was the second most prestigious position. This was like in the 80s, right? So then they demoted me from hamburgers to chicken nuggets. My entrepreneurial journey began when
McDonald's.
When everybody kept firing me from even like the crappiest jobs because I'm completely unemployable apparently. I
have to give kudos to McDonald's that they tried. They tried.
Yeah, they didn't fire me right away. They just kept demoting me. So then my first job in the summer at university, I worked at a gas station downtown, not too far from here actually. And I pumped gas, and there I was making the big money. I was making $7 an hour. I was hustling, trying to get tips. I would clean the windshield and do all that stuff. And then, I realized that wasn't going to work out either. During that summer, I had a friend of mine who was selling stuffed animals on street corners, and what he would do is he became really, really good at winning them at the fair, right? So he just became a master at winning them. So he was doing that, and I was like, okay, great. Wow. And then what he would do is he would sit at street corners and he would sell them. He actually employed me for a couple of weeks, and he would put me on the corner. And I would sit there and I would sell his stuffed animals. At the end of the day, he'd come and I'd see he'd have this big wad of money, and he'd take out my little piece and he'd say, "Thank you, Gary. Good job." And I'm like, "Well, but I did everything." He goes, "What's my inventory? It's my this, it's my that." I'm like, "All right." So then I ventured into the stuffed animal business myself, but my hand-eye coordination is about as good as yours. So instead of going and trying to win them, I borrowed a few $1,000s and I bought a 25-year-old cargo van. I went to the fair and I got my hands on one of them, and I looked at the tag and I saw who manufactured them. So then I called the manufacturer. They were luckily in Toronto. I went over there and I said, "Hey, can I just buy this shit from you?"
Buy all the defected ones?
No, I just bought the legit ones. I'm like, how much are they? And the guy would say, "Okay, well, this one is like $3. I go, $3? Cool. I think I could sell it for 10. Cool." So I bought a bunch of those, and then I bought these other big monkeys and
that's like so an entrepreneurial.
Well, no, but I just copied, right? I saw the other guy was doing it. My only twist was that I just went and instead of
went to the source.
Well, instead of spending months trying to hone my skills to win this stuff at the fair, I said, "Screw it, I'm just going to go and buy it." And I took a shortcut instead of having to build up this inventory. Plus, when you're trying to win it, you don't control what you get.
Yeah.
So I started speculating, okay, what inventory do I think will do well? Oh, that white monkey, that'll do well. That black dog, that'll do well. That purple dinosaur, because it looked like Barney, that'll do well.
How old were you?
21. And I tell you, to this day, if I set up stuffed animals on street corners, we would be making stupid money doing it. And nobody wants to listen to me.
Well, I think that if we put Jake and Ben...
No, it's too early for... I tried to convince your brother.
He's not buying it.
He was concerned that somebody would see him doing it. And that was the start of it.
How do you break into an industry that is overflowing with other competitors?
Every industry I've ever been in, I was never the first to market, but we were always we just did whatever we had to do. I mean, there's no secret to it.
You just have to do your research, see what those other people do and how you can make it better.
Yeah, I never want to reinvent the wheel. I want to improve it. So I always look for concepts that have already been proven out. I can see things that are already doing well, that are already at scale, and then once I identify that, then I go in and I use a handful of the businesses that I've identified in a certain industry. I'll use those as a blueprint, and I will try and improve on those. Yeah. Very similar to what you're doing on YouTube. I mean,
when I started, it's like such a crazy industry. There's so many people in it already. But we were sitting together, and once we decided, this is a business and this is our next business venture, Gary's like, "Okay, what's special about you? Like, what are your pillars? What are you bringing to the table?" And I think we started identifying what it is, and that's kind of what built, the brand and what we wanted to put out there.
Is it better to just start for the sake of starting, or should you wait until every detail is planned?
No, don't wait. Start. There's
it will never be perfect.
It'll never be perfect. It's like having kids. It's never the perfect time.
Yeah.
You have to start, put in a lot of work, learn from learn from execution, iterate on improvements, and go back to executing again. So you just have to constantly executing and iterating.
How do you know when there's a risk that's worth taking? And a second part of that is, how do you know when it's time to kind of give an idea up?
Regarding a risk that's worth taking, you have to ask yourself, what else do you have going on? If you've got nothing else going on, go ahead and take that risk. Risk is different depending on the stage of life you're at. If you have other responsibilities, if you're not married and you have no responsibilities, so different stages in life have different. You're gonna have different risk tolerance.
Failing is not a risk. Failing is your education. That's where you learn. So at that stage in life, definitely go for it.
If you're at that stage where you do not have immediate dependence or financial responsibilities, the only thing you're risking is your good times. I think the bigger risk is not doing anything. If you want to be an entrepreneur, and if you're just sitting around and waiting for that perfect moment, it will never come.
Yeah.
So the risk
and you're actually wasting the most precious currency, which is time,
right,
which you'll never be able to bring
The
back.
risk is doing nothing. That's the real risk.
How do you know when to give up? Because that's a good question. Because how many, if you follow motivational people, like, never give up, and this is how long it took, and blah, 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 blah.
If you want to be an entrepreneur, giving up doesn't exist. You have to pivot. So there's a distinction between giving up and pivoting. Pivoting you can do consistently.
The pearl of wisdom. Yeah.
Pivoting you can and should do all the time. Just like with you, if there's types of content that that you put out that doesn't work, you pivot into different kinds of content. Does that mean you've given up on this on YouTube? No, you've given up, let's say, on doing a segment that didn't work, that your audience didn't respond to. So you can give up on that, but you're not giving up, you're pivoting. Whereas giving up meaning like throwing everything away, shutting everything down, going home.
Basically, if you're an entrepreneur, pivot. There's no such thing as giving up.
How do you decide what to invest your time and energy into? Like, are you guys ever scared of letting go of some dreams to pursue another?
We identify what we want to achieve, and that's when we decide what is the best thing that will bring us to that goal. So our goal is to have peace. Our goal is to minimize stress in our lives. Our goal, healthy, spend more time with the kids. So what can we do now that will bring us closer to that?
How do you deal with rejection, especially in business when you're starting out?
If you know you have to make 50 presentations to get to one sale, then you know that rejection is just one step closer to your goal. So you keep doing that. The rejections, you just have to have a thick skin, forget about it, and know that you are now that much more closer to achieving that thing that you wanted, making that sale or achieving whatever it is that you've set out to. It's just reality. The thing is you can't fight reality, and the reality is you're going to get rejected. If you have a problem with getting rejected, either get out of business or learn to develop a thick skin. You have to control your thoughts and learn from the rejection. Why did you get rejected? What did you do wrong when going into that meeting? What could you have done better? Take the benefit out of it, which is the lesson, and you move on to the next one. If you can't handle the rejection, just move on to something else then.
Bye, Felicia.
How do you guys, in business, deal with situations that are unplanned?
That's every moment of business.
That's every moment of life.
Again, it's acceptance. Is like you have to surrender to the fact that everything is in chaos at all times, and the only constant is the fact that everything is always changing. So as soon as you accept that, and I had it's a lot easier said than done, and I still have a hard time accepting the reality of some situations. But you just bear down and you get through it. You accept that the changes and the chaos do exist.
How do you start investing for yourself at a young age to set yourself up for a business?
So I think with the investment, because I saw a lot of the questions, they come from a lot of girls that are like in college that have debts, that ask about like how to deal with debts and stuff like that. So I actually made a video with Shannon Lee Simmons, who is a financial advisor. She actually also wrote a book. I'm gonna link it below, but she answered a lot of those questions. So if you're a young girl and you want to learn how to make a budget, how to deal with debt, you're out of school and you wanna figure out, if you need to invest, what you need to invest in. She gave so much amazing tips, and the book in general is such an amazing source to answer all your questions. So I'm gonna put this here, above this beautiful shiny head, and you guys can check that video, and I'm gonna also link her book in the description.
What's the most difficult part about becoming an entrepreneur, and on the other side of that, why is it so rewarding?
Because when it's good, it's so good, but when it's bad, it's terrible. I think that the rewarding part about being an entrepreneur is that you create something of your own and you see how it affects people. Like for me personally, when I create a piece of content and I see that people resonate with it, or they like, a product, or they like something, it just puts you on such an amazing level of like, you feel like you brought some value, you feel like you have a purpose, and that's what keeps me going. And that's it. That's like the reason why I choose to keep doing it, even when, I get to periods where it feels sucks and I feel drained and I don't have energy and I have nothing else to give. But that's what keeps driving me to, get over it and keep doing what I do.
What are your best tips for getting the word out about a new business and creating a strong community?
Social media.
Content. Content is the currency. Attention is the currency. So if you're selling, I don't know, if you're selling coffee, create a platform which is a combination of YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, whatever it may be. Do a channel about your product or service, not selling it, but talking about it and adding value. So content is really the key.
Yeah, I think social media today is you can be in charge of, how much exposure you get, how much content. You just need to create things that people will care about. And I think that's actually such an amazing time. I feel like for brands, there's so many little brands that just blew up from it. So I definitely think taking advantage of that is really important.
How do you become respected in business, especially if you're a young entrepreneur?
Once you prove to people that you can back up what you're talking about, that's it. You can't come and be like,
guys, the market,
21, but I demand respect.
The market's the market. It doesn't matter. If somebody's coming to me with a business proposal and they're 50 or they're 20, if you're coming and offering me something of value that I can use and leverage to improve my business, it doesn't matter to me if you're 20 or it doesn't matter to me how old you are.
It's not a thing anymore.
Don't worry about that. Worry about actually creating value versus what you look like. That makes a difference.
That was really awesome. Good job, babe. Thank you guys so much for all your questions. If you have anything else, please put it in the description box and we'll answer it. And let us know if you want to hear more. Thank you. And thank you, Skillshare, for sponsoring this video. And you guys check out the special offer in the description box. Mwah!
Take care, guys.